Okay.
Let's see if it's gonna work this time. But yeah, people get a little bit.
Okay.
Let's see if it's gonna work. It's working. This time. People get a little bit excited about when teams go on the crazy win streaks, and rightfully so. When you're beating everyone, you deserve your credit. It's a really good football team. But I do find it super interesting when people are that sure. When people are that sure that like their team's going to steamroll everyone. I was wicked confident and believed in the Bengals in the playoffs, but they were fucking crushing it. They were killing it. They were like fucking dynamic, and I was confident. But there was games. The only team I knew we were going to beat was Tennessee. I really felt it in my bones we'd beat Tennessee. You never know with fucking the Chiefs when it comes to the playoffs. You could be on the wrong side of a fucking shootout. I knew we were going to beat, and then I really thought the Rams were going to smack us. But that game was a couple plays away from being ours too. So.
I know.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Keep it G-Real podcast back. Apparently, Chad and I chopped it up for 26 minutes with some really good content, and no one could hear my voice, apparently. But we are back up, and we're alive. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We talked about the Bills. Josh Allen just talked about how he might be out for a little bit. Now we're talking about the Eagles and some of the teams that are at the top. I mean, how do you see the Eagles? Like another 8-0, but how do you really feel about them? Like I said, they've had some close games here with teams that aren't that great, and against the Cowboys. If the Cowboys would have been as fully healthy as the Eagles, that game could have been totally different. That game was closer than people think. Like everyone's in the group chat, take your ass whooping to the Cowboys fans. But it's like, I don't know. I don't constitute that as too much of an ass whooping. That game was way closer than it should have been with the quarterback throwing 3 interceptions.
The thing is, like at the beginning of the season with them, their schedule looked easier, and it was easier. It was front loaded easier. Like those first so many games where you're playing like Detroit. I'm sure they play at Jags, but you're playing teams that aren't like super well off teams already. So the first so many games where it was going to be pretty easy of a schedule. And then after that 6-week mark, it was supposed to kick in the kind of hard mode, because then that's when they had their divisional games come in, and they had the Packers and all these other things. But now with how the Packers are playing and stuff, I think the team I see giving them troubles would be the Cowboys and the Giants coming up. At this point, to be honest, I mean, I don't think they're going to go 17-0, only because we're past the stage of, unless they get to 16-0 and they really want to get that 17-0 mark. If they lose one before that, that last game, one or two before, they're not gonna lose 4 games. Like, you know what I mean? So why would you risk at the end? You're gonna be the top seed in your division. Besides the Vikings, like they're gonna be top seed in the NFC. Like, because I mean, realistically, they have one game on the Vikings, and also they have the tiebreaker. So I mean, unless something goes very astray, they're going to get the number 1 seed. So why, like, if they're going into the 17th week or even the 16th week, and they've already snagged that first seed, why would you even put all your players out there for the full game? You know what I mean? For the factor of having the 17-0, if you're still undefeated at that point, but I see them playing well. I mean, like I said before, I'm very interested in the fact that they haven't had to use those designed runs for Hurts as of late, as much as I did the first so many games. Nowadays, he's not even getting 40 yards rushing sometimes.
I mean, it doesn't mean they're not capable of doing it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
their quarterback runs haven't been as efficient as they were towards the tail end of last year.
They don't have to use them anymore. It seems like they're getting ahead of players by throwing the ball, and he's being more of a pocket player, and then as well as just their run game's good enough. So without him running, their run game's still strong, It's like they're only using 2 heads out of the 3-headed beast they have at this point. But if they get to the point where it's going to be a hard game and they're losing, or it's going to get tight, they're going to start putting those. They're going to start calling those designed runs for him, and I'd be interested to see, because if I was them, if they're winning without you doing that, why risk him getting hurt?
Right.
That's why I think what they're kind of not. They're using like almost 2/3 of their like plays of that. Not obviously, it's not a whole third of a playbook that's him running, but you know what I mean. 2/3 of the things they can. They're missing 1/3 of the piece that they can use, but they don't need it at this point.
Right.
If they start down in a game, they're going to start doing that stuff.
Right.
Which when it is close enough, they will they do pull more of those. They're missing 1/3 of the piece that they can use. I just think they don't need it. They don't want to risk his body getting hit as hard, because he's not as big as Allen, so he can't take all the punt. I'm sure he's very strong and he's very muscular. Stout. He is stout, but like I just don't think they want to risk him getting head-on hits like that all the time, because he's the type of guy. He's like Allen. He's going to go full steam ahead. He's not going to try to run someone over, but you know what I mean. He's not going to slide really as much.
Right.
He's smart.
So another thing, and like Darren's always dropping like little quibbles in the chat. I don't want to hear anyone say Jalen Hurts hasn't taken a leap and all this other stuff, and it's like, of course he's taken a leap, but in terms of like pure passing skill, there's still a lot of dudes that are better than him in pure passing skill. He happens to have a really good offensive line and a really, really good trio of dudes. Dallas Goedert's so good. Brown is so good that you can't cover all those dudes. There's always someone open. And their route running, dude, they get so wide open it's not even funny. Although Jalen Hurts made a play the other day, or a week or two, was last week, that was fucking obscene, where he was like, remember the play where he muffed the snap and he was running away, followed to his right? Goddard ran like a tight end type of like flag route into the middle of the field, realized that the play was breaking, and Hurts realized where he was going to run to off the broken play. He threw it over the zone, like the hook zone of the linebacker, into the only space where no one was, and Dallas Goedert went and got the ball while he was on the run. It was a really fantastic play. Another thing that people don't talk about was Devontae Smith, on a team that didn't have a lot of weapons last year besides him and Jalen Hurts. The running backs were always injured. Devontae Smith is super fucking good. And he had almost 1,000 yards last year and had 6 touchdowns while teams focusing on trying to stop him. The weapons for this team and their ability to run the football on top of the passing game is just ridiculous. It is a really, really, really hard team to beat. The only thing that I worry about is, and it's something I've said since the beginning of the year, this team's fantastic, but we were going to have to see how this team reacts and when the game's on the line and they get put in a position where they're down, or the game's close, and the coverage is tighter, and Hurts is going to have to really make legitimate game time, like crazy throws against really good teams. Like, it's just, I want to see all these teams fully healthy. I hope all these teams are fully healthy when they get to the end. Again, your team at full health could beat the Eagles. The Chiefs at full health could beat the Eagles. Honestly, the Ravens can beat a lot of teams. Miami can beat a lot of teams. It's going to be interesting to see down the stretch here what happens and into the playoffs. Yeah, but I agree with you. If I was as good as the Eagles, I would get to 12 wins, and then I'd fucking just coast. Keep everyone healthy for the playoffs.
There's no reason to put your ego. I mean, you still want to keep the players like depending how people play off bye weeks, everyone's different. You know what I mean? But like, it's not a bye week, but it's still like you get them like a quarter or so a play, quarter to two if you have to a play, and then just let the other people come in the second half. I mean, especially if they already have it locked up, which I'm guessing they should have it locked up by week 15. Just go that route, because there's no reason to make people have a chance to get injured. Because if someone does get injured, that's very important. It's going to be very looked down upon at that point.
Yeah, I mean it really is a fun team to watch too. It's just a really dynamic team. I feel like my camera's like a little. Hold on a sec.
Yeah, it kind of was a little.
That's better. It's like a little was running slow, like a little behind. Um, yeah. So the teams that I really like that are really good. Obviously, I like the Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs. I like the Ravens too. Um, Interesting to see how the Titans fare down the stretch. People talk shit. I like the Cowboys too. They got Dak back. They're one of the best defenses in the whole entire league, sitting there at 6-2. Um, the team, and we'll get into that later. But I guess supposedly Keegan was hitting me up saying he was going to get in here. I spammed the Discord chat out to a bunch of different guys. I have a feeling Ton's not getting in here, or else he would have been in here by now. And I texted him. He said he'd be on, but. So what I wanted to do is we'll get into it first with the stuff. We'll do where we were right and wrong about teams. I made a whole list. I did, teams that I was right about, and I wrote the good teams, and then the teams that I was right would be bad. Then I put where I was wrong, teams that are good that I was wrong about, and then I put the bad teams that I was wrong about, teams I thought would be good. So if you want, you can go with, whatever list you have. If you made a list for it, I don't know if you did or not.
I know,
Where you were right.
I know I threw it out, but I remember most of it. One of the teams which I think I put them in the category where like they're kind of in between at this point. They're now in the bad team area, or like bad team with like a good players at this point is like the Packers. They aren't bouncing back at this point.
I don't think so either.
They're not making the playoffs. Like I made the video like after week 8, and I said mid-season playoff prediction, and I just said, hey, I don't see the Packers. I almost didn't put Tampa. I think it was the Packers, the Rams, or I could even see the Bucks being out of the play. Well, no. It all depends if they win the division. If the Bucks win, I still think the Falcons win the division.
I don't agree with that. The Bucks are going to get healthy eventually.
With the play last week, this last game,
you can't lose the Panthers, man.
Yeah, but
the Bucks did too, which is crazy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You can't say that about either team. And I don't know. I think it's really going to come down to like being down, because what's funny and it's interesting, the Falcons play Tampa last week of the season, too. So I mean, I think that's gonna be a big piece of who makes it in. But
the Bucks,
I think I had Tampa on that, but Tampa's not bouncing back right now either. The Falcons, I think they're more on the up from what we had them before as well.
I don't know. I put them in.
They're like mediocre now. I think before they were like badish.
I put
like,
them in. I was right about them because I think they're still going to suck in the end of the year.
I mean, like they've just been having decent play in a sense the past couple weeks. I mean, they're 4-5.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of their wins are against bad teams. All I do is run the football.
Yeah, that is true.
What else you got?
But I think the Jets definitely didn't decline like I thought they would. I think they're in the realm of almost good team in a sense, because they don't have to have Wilson. Their defense throws them into that good team at this point. Being a 6-2 and Wilson not making it over 170 yards like so many games in a row and not having to. I mean, that definitely fares well for them. I don't know. I think that's... And the Patriots are not dead.
Yeah.
They're not...
I don't think they're that good, though.
No, but they're still in the mix of 5-4, you know? They're not...
Right.
I thought at this part of the season they'd be pretty much out of the possibility of being in the playoffs. But really, they're not. I mean, a couple games here and there being missed, they can easily come up and get in. But yeah, I think all the bad teams we had, they were all pretty much bad still.
Yeah,
Like the
mine.
Panthers and all them and
Yeah,
Broncos and stuff.
I could go through some of mine.
And the Raiders. I was wrong about the Raiders.
Yeah, that's one of the only ones that you were wrong about. I
They're
was wrong
declining.
about. I was wrong about a few, but I'll go into where I was right about teams. So teams that I was right about them being good are the Chiefs, the Chargers. Now, mind you, a lot of and you had to preface this. Some of these teams have good records, but we don't really think they're all that great. Some teams have losing records, and we think they might be a little bit better. But this is based off a combination of both. I mean, I got to give the Chargers their due. They're fucking injured all over the place, and they're still five. What are they? 5-3. Yeah, they're 5-3 in a tough division, and they're dude. 4 of their best players are injured. But so we were right about the Chiefs and the Chargers. And I wrote injuries next to Chargers. I was right about the Ravens, even though a lot of people didn't agree with me about the Ravens and possibly win the division. Obviously, we're right about the Bills. I was right about the Dolphins. I put that I was right about the Jets. Now, the Jets, I didn't think were going to do as good as they are now, but I thought the Jets would be better than they were last year. I thought the Jets could finish third and be like, 6, 7, 8 win team possibly. Sitting out here at 6-3. Obviously, we picked the Eagles to win the division.
Yeah.
Cowboys, we were right about. Vikings, we were right about. 49ers are 4-4, but I still think they're good, and I think they're going to sneak back on the Seahawks and win the division. They're getting all their players back from being injured, so we were right about them. They're a good football team. I put an asterisk next to the Bengals. They are 5-4, not as good as we thought they were going to be.
No.
And to be fair, those first 3 games, this team could easily be, fucking 7-2 or 6-2 or whatever. Those first couple games were absolutely brutal. Like, it was our first 4 games. We lost some of them by like field goals and shit. Just turnovers, just brutal. Titans. I went back and watched the pod, and I was making the case that Mike Vrabel was going to show why he's one of the best coaches in the league, and that the Titans would win their division. Titans are sitting here at 5-3. Oh snap! Who is this, dude?
Yo, fuck the Giants, bro.
What? What's up?
I don't know. I'm fucking done.
Yo, Big Kyle.
Yo.
Yo, what up, Kyle? What do you say about the Giants, dude?
Yeah, fuck them, bro. Literally,
Fuck them. Why?
because they're tied for the worst record in NFL history. Like, the last seasons have been 22-59, and they're dead last.
Yeah.
Despite stretching, including the Browns.
Well, I mean, right now they are 6-2 this year,
I don't fucking know what I'm talking about.
dude.
I
Aren't
don't
you?
fucking watch football.
Aren't you a Jets fan?
What the fuck's the Jets?
Well,
Yeah,
so I mean,
Jets,
what else do you not like about the Giants?
Oh, they're from New York.
Oh, okay. You don't like New
Yeah,
York,
fuck
even
me.
though you live here.
Fuck New York. Yeah.
What
Fuck
about
New York, man.
Saquon Barkley? You don't like Saquon Barkley?
The fuck is that?
They're running back. You don't like Saquon Barkley?
I don't know who the fuck that is.
He's running back for the Giants.
What are your thoughts on Daniel Jones?
He's ass.
Bro, you know my fucking answer to that, and it's gonna be the same thing he says. He's ass.
So elaborate, though. I want you to elaborate on why you don't like the Giants so much.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I just had a feeling. I just dislike them. I don't know.
You just see those colors and you just fucking.
I see the colors and it just. Oh, it's like when a bull sees red, except it's blue, white, and red. Actually, no, that's wrong.
No, that's right. It is right.
Oh, I hate that now.
That's fucking funny. That's funny. That's fucking funny. So but I thought you were like, aren't you a Jets fan? That's the real New York team, right? Well, should I say New Jersey team?
I don't watch football, bro. You gotta understand, I'm a fucking certified gamer nerd, alright? I got my license right here in my pocket. Alright?
So what's going on with you, Big Kyle?
I just came in to stop say hi.
You just
See what you guys
came
are
in
up
and
to.
stop, say hi, tell us the Giants suck.
Yeah.
Word. So what's the deal, man? You trying to do another video game pod soon, dude?
Yeah, dude, just let me fucking know, man.
Hell yeah. What are you
I
playing?
got
What are you playing tonight? Rust?
just work, man.
Oh, you
Working
working?
on. So I don't want to explain it too much because it's like a whole podcast episode in itself. But I do a lot of GTA 5 modding, and I've learned a lot. And I've gotten to
Okay.
the point where people are starting to pay me. So I've been working on side projects.
Oh, well, you're popular, so
It's not even just that. It's just I know what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay, my bad. You got anything you want to say to the people?
Uh, fucking I guess to the people,
Yeah, what do you got to say to the people of the free world
live,
before you
laugh,
dip out, Kyle?
live, laugh, and learn.
Live, let
Nah,
live,
fuck
laugh,
that
learn.
shit. That's some pussy fucking thing. Hey, no, fuck bitches get money. I'm out. Peace.
Yo, Kyle's fucking the hardest dude ever, dude. Kyle's fucking hard as nails coming here shit on the Giants and divs out. That's fucking funny.
That's not, yeah. That's I don't know. The Giants, they're definitely surprising this year. I give them that. I mean, no one thought they're going to be this good at this point.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
I mean, and
They
I don't really think they're as good as
got
everyone.
the second loss in there now. So I mean,
Oh, so teams that I knew would be bad: the Lions, the Saints, the Raiders. I said that. I didn't think they'd be this bad, but I figured they'd finish in last. Commanders, Bears. Oh yeah, Commanders, Bears, Lions, Saints, Raiders. So I put the Browns and Steelers with an asterisk. They're going to have a terrible winning percentage this year, but I figured they might have won a few more games. But it's not looking like it. Called the Colts not being good. Texans, Falcons, Panthers, all those teams aren't great. Where I was wrong, Giants, obviously. Still a lot of football left to be played, but we said the ceiling for the Giants would be like 9 wins. Looks like they're going to get that or get more.
yeah.
The floor we thought was 5 or 6 wins. Seahawks, obviously, I thought the Seahawks would be fighting for number one pick. Teams, what was it? Where I was wrong? Yeah, teams that I was wrong about being good. The Rams, the Bucks, the Cardinals, Packers, and Broncos. And I put asterisks next to Packers and Broncos because it's like, or the Packers and Bucks because it's like, what the fuck is going on with those two teams, man? I know the Bucks have tons of injuries and like shit with Tom and not have continuity and stuff, but like, we have never seen a quarterback that good with an offensive line that good, a defense on paper that's that good, have this little success. Usually, history shows that, if you have a solid roster and a really good quarterback, you win a lot of football games. They can run the ball and everything. They ain't getting it fucking done out there, dude, up in Wisconsin. So, it's crazy.
Definitely not.
It's crazy.
Especially when everyone's running so well. Like, it's like they didn't, especially that last game, it's like they didn't stick to it. Like, especially after the Bills game where you were able to run so much in the second half. You're not going to run Aaron Jones more? I don't know. It seems...
What do you think? You think Rodgers gets traded?
Rodgers getting traded? I think Rodgers will just leave the game before he gets traded at this point.
Do you think he'll play his contract out?
He's got a new contract, right? 3 years?
It's 3 or 4 years. I think it's 4 years.
I don't know, man.
Where would you like to see him play if he doesn't play for Green Bay?
I'm trying to think of where he would even want to play. I mean, because at this point,
49ers.
At this point he's made enough money.
Put in the call.
I don't. Maybe the 49ers. Because I mean, honestly, what was his name? Who was a starter over there before?
Fucking they had the kid that got hurt.
Trey Lance.
And now they got Old Faithful again.
What I hoped he was going to be, because when he was on his own out there, he was not playing that well. I get it because he's still fresh-ish, but he still sat a whole year. You know what I mean? Like, he can't come out that especially a first-round pick again, and you're just coming out that flat. I mean, you can't do that, especially when you have Garoppolo sitting back there actually winning games now for them. It's like,
Right.
but he's not playing the greatest either. I mean, I don't think he is, anyways.
Who,
He's playing like Garoppolo.
Yeah, he's playing like Garoppolo. I mean, it's fucking Garoppolo. We ain't talking about Garoffalos. We're talking Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's playing. I don't know. I just don't think. I can't. I just can't see Rodgers wanting to go to another team. I think
he should play for the Niners, man.
You know what I mean? I think he'd want to go out on his own terms. Like, unless he found a team he'd really want to go to, maybe.
You really think Rodgers cares that much about playing in Green Bay?
Broncos. Let's go. Let's see him to pick up the... Because Russ is just going to get phased out.
Dude, do you know how good this 49ers team would be if they could stay healthy and if they had Aaron Rodgers?
They have good receivers and everything, yeah.
That's a Super Bowl team. They got tons of running backs. They got tight ends. They got wide receivers. They got a really good deep defense. If everyone stayed healthy on that team and you plugged in Aaron Rodgers, that team would march to the NFC Championship.
He might go searching for... Because I think he's still...
Here's the thing, though. If you look at it realistically, look at these teams. Not going to play for the Bills, Eagles, Vikings. They have quarterbacks. Not going to play for the Ravens. He probably wouldn't play in Tennessee. He wouldn't play in Seattle. Tampa's got Tom, and he probably wouldn't go there after Tom left. He wouldn't play for the Jets. Cowboys don't need a quarterback. Miami doesn't need a quarterback. I don't see him playing in New York, but New York would take him. Chargers don't need a quarterback. So that leaves 49ers. And then if you look at the teams behind them, he would never play for the Pats. He wouldn't play for Washington. Look at all these teams behind. The Rams have a quarterback. The Broncos have a quarterback. He wouldn't play for any of these teams down here. Colts? He wouldn't play for the Colts. Telling you. They were talking about him possibly go to the 49ers. That's the spot, dude. You imagine
it would be
team?
Nice.
Ooh.
It would be nice. That'd be a good pickup. But I still don't see Tom coming back in this next year either.
No.
Unless he wants to prove that he's good enough and that he just didn't go back into the league for no reason, then I don't know. But he's not playing well right now.
Yeah,
because even Tom's, he's been overthrowing people, dropping shooting passes low. I mean, he's been not the ball around and reading stuff right like he usually does. Something's off.
Yeah, man. So we'll go into the awards here. Who is your coach of the year?
Coach of the year. You know what? I'd go with Dable. I think he's a solid coach of the year, especially if
spoken like a true Bills fan.
If he can get the Giants from the team they were last year into the playoffs this year, and like a higher seed too, like maybe like a 5th seed or like a 6th seed, not like scraping in last on 7th. Like I think he would warrant it. Because right now at the middle, at like a little bit past mid-season, you're looking at it being 6-2. Yeah, there are some, and then some of those games they had to fight back. Some of those games that he won because he decided to go for 2. I mean, a lot of decisions that like some head coaches at his first head coach would not want to make.
Yeah. I have 2 guys that I think we're both worthy. I agree with everything you said about Brian Dable. He's one of them. The other one is Nick Sirianni. I know this team's really stacked, but love the way he coaches. I love the play calling. I like the way this team plays, the way they built this roster. You know, the way he schemes everything up out there. I really do like this Eagles team a lot. So I have Nick Sirianni and Brian Dable. I could see by default people wanted to take what is it, Salah from the Jets, but
Oh, Salah, see, that's a good story too. There, both
be
both those New
collecting
York
them
teams.
tickets. He's getting receipts. He's collecting receipts on people talk shit, dude. So you better be careful what you say.
Yeah, both those teams are going off pretty. Like I think both those teams would be good. Can't have good candidates for their head coaches being coach of the year. I think the way Sirianni, the way he could edge out Dable, because they had a decent team last year. They did some good stuff picking up in the back. Like the GM did some good picking up of getting AJ Brown, in the draft to be a trade. But I think the only way Sirianni could win it is if they go 17-0,
Really?
or at least 15. Only because, like, say the Giants go like 11-5. That's more bringing the Giants team from last year to 11-5 team. It's more impressive than the Eagles team who made the playoffs the year before going 15-2. At least in my eyes, it might be different to whoever's like judging it, but like I feel like Coach of the Year usually goes to the. It's almost like who rebirthed the team, or who like completely reimaged the team in a year, where did so much coaching wise that they didn't think that was possible.
Right.
Because I mean, what really changed on the Giants team besides him going to that team?
Yeah, I mean not much. I mean they had a decent draft
Like
and
for
stuff,
the
but
Eagles, they added a wide receiver that makes them more dynamic, and that's not really that can be seen as not coaching in a sense. You know what I mean?
right.
Who knows? That's obviously like gray lines, but like he would have to go very high win percentage, and obviously they have been, but like finish out the year very high winning percentage, like a 16 to 17 to 15 wins. I think to do that.
Well, because the team is already really, really good too. They're a playoff team last year
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah, and the defense was good last year. Defense is still good this year. It got a little bit better. Offense got a little bit better too. But I don't know. I think the only thing that changed for the Giants, really, they picked up a couple pieces here and there. But
Yeah, nothing
I mean,
really.
the coach really kind of changed that mentality over there. And same thing for Salah. Like Salah's been there for two show years at the Jets now, but he's been building that team, and like training people up, and he's still dealing with a lot of young players. So I mean, and that's a team where no one thought was going to go up. Same thing as the Jets. Who saw both? Like New York Jets, New York Giants being 6-2 or 6-3 and stuff right now?
I think we
Nobody.
have. I think we have both the same comeback player of the year, right?
Yeah, this could be Geno Smith. I mean,
Yeah. Some people. I heard someone trying to say Pete Carroll's coach of the year. If it's not for Geno Smith's fucking 90 overall grade in leadership, that team's not a winning football team. You take that away, this team fucking might not win any games.
Yep.
He's been efficient running, efficient throwing, hasn't turned the ball over a lot, just looks so serious and poised and focused. And, like, I do feel bad for some players, that bud later on in their careers, because you look at a guy like Geno Smith. I thought they gave Geno Smith when he was in New York more time than give most quarterbacks now. Could this just be a one-year wonder with, the offensive line's played a little bit better than we thought they would on paper? And that he's got, Will Disley and those wide receivers to throw the ball to. Will Disley's underrated. Like, Lockett and DK Metcalf, they're making the most of it, and I do think that scheme is very friendly for quarterbacks. It's mostly, a run the ball, play action type play, but his feet gives an added wrinkle to it too, and him just being a boys with another opportunity at 32 years old, like Geno's been the man this year, dude. 6-3.
Yeah, I definitely get that to him. Especially if he finishes out even like probably with 2 or 3 more wins, he's gonna have it.
Oh, for sure. I honestly, I think they're gonna get 10 wins.
Oh, I see it. I definitely see it. So I'd like this. So I'll pick one. Defensive Rookie of the
Okay,
Year.
yeah, that's
I
the
think
next one on my list.
Sauce is getting it. I called
Yeah,
it at
we
the
have the
beginning of the
same
year.
guy.
I think Sauce Gardner's getting him, and no one's really been too close to him. None of the pass rushers that came in, I mean, they've been playing decent, but like Thibodeau and stuff, but he was hurt a lot too, so it
Yeah.
kind of faded his chances.
44 total tackles, 13 pass defended, 2 INTs, 27% QBR against him, and an 85 overall grade. So,
Hey, he's doing good.
yeah, he's doing fucking
And no
fantastic.
got scored again.
You do know that most of the cornerbacks and defensive backs that come in the NFL, right? Almost all of them grade atrociously. Like they all grade at all of their metrics except for like tackling in the fucking red in like dark orange. Like they always grade bad. I went and looked at his grades and I was like, oh my God, like his grades are in like the green and blue. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Good for him, man. A beast. 6'3", 200 pounds, runs like the wind, instinctive, just a really intelligent player. Awesome player. And then who doesn't love like to get up, his grill and shit, sauce? Like who doesn't love that shit? But we had the same guy. Who's your offensive rookie of the year? We might have a different guy.
Good question. There were no really good quarterbacks that came out. I mean, playing well right now.
Yeah.
And those are usually the guys who snag it, unless there's a monster wide receiver at that point.
There is one wide receiver playing really well, but I didn't pick him. Well, there's two, but I didn't pick them.
If I'm upset that Brees Hall got hurt, because if he would have stayed healthy, he would have snagged that bitch easy.
Yeah,
I think. Just because for what he was doing within those couple weeks of him being more prevalent and getting all the snaps. I mean, he was definitely going to get those, and the touchdowns he had even in the games he played. But I don't know. Jeez, I can't. I mean, Dameon Pierce is decent, but I don't think he's good. He's pushing it because he's like really the only thing over there in the Texans offense at this point.
Well, I have him as my defensive rookie of the year, but almost 700 yards through 9 games, 4.6 yards per carry with 3 touchdowns. He's also caught over 20 passes for over 100 yards with a 77 overall grade. Underrated blocker. That offensive line's not that great. He really makes the best of his runs. He's in the top 5 right now in broken tackles. And that's the one thing that always translates from the college game to the NFL game when it comes to running backs and wide receivers, broken tackles. He's absolutely fantastic. Give me 1 sec. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another Alec. No, it's not Alec Pierce, is it? No, it's the wide receiver down in the Colts was doing decent for a sec, but he doesn't have a quarterback anymore. I don't know. Like a lot of the rookie wide receivers haven't been doing their job as much of a job this year, so it kind of only points at Dameon Pierce at this point. I think that's a struggle. Like when you don't have any dominant like QB, usually the QBs win it, or like a really good running back. Because I think last year, no, Justin Jefferson's been in the league 2 years now.
So were you talking about the kid from the Colts?
Yeah, because he was playing good in the beginning, but he doesn't have anyone throwing to him. I feel like if he had someone throwing to him, he would have a chance over there. But it's like he kind of only had one or two good games.
Yeah, he's all right. I liked him too coming out. I had him in my keeper league for a second, then I dropped him. But the 3 wide receivers that are playing well, better than the rest. Drake London with Atlanta. Now, true. That system, they're not really – that system's odd. I mean, they're just running the football with Mariota and all those running backs. Tyler Algier called it. I really think he's going to be their bell cow going forward. He's only 21, 22 years old, and he's got a lot of yards and some touchdowns in a multi. It's a you share the load in that system, but Drake London, Chris Olave, he's played really well through 9 games.
After he was a rookie,
yeah, Chris Olave, and then the kid Garrett Wilson from the Jets, he's played solid too.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson. I feel bad for the wide receivers that could win it because they're getting limited by their quarterbacks so hard.
Yeah. Who's your defensive player of the year?
I can't think right now. I'm thinking it's gonna be going toward because Sauce can't win defensive rookie and defensive player of the year.
Oh well, I mean, I have to go look at the grades and compare them to other guys. Technically, you can. I don't know if they would give you both. I feel like if they're going to give you one, you just get defensive player of the year.
One. So, I mean, I think it would definitely go towards a pass rusher then because not that there haven't been good corners. There are a lot of good corners.
They've been struggling this year more than they normally do, even the best ones.
I think it'd be more on the defensive end front, and I haven't looked at who's leading in like sacks and crap like that as of late. But I mean, I don't know. I really have to do some more research. I'm not sure who was a good candidate to put towards that. At this point.
Mean, corners. Jalen Ramsey's grading out at an 87. That Jack Jones kid's grading out at an 87. Sauce Gardner's right now an 86.1. For me, and people can say what they want. They're either haters or they're not paying attention to it. But mine right now is Micah Parsons. And I know the group chat likes to sit around. You got the guys in there like to fucking talk shit because half of the group chat they're NFC East. They love the NFC East. He's got 40 total tackles, 8 sacks, 9 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles. He's top 3 in pressures with a 91 overall grade, and that he's doing all that while he's getting triple teamed, double teamed every fucking play. And he still is a fucking disruptor. I've seen plays they try to triple team him and run plays. He's still just fucking somehow weighing 50 pounds less than the average player that's attacking him. Just disrupts shit, creates piles, all this other shit. Super, super fast. And so, like we said in the group chat, I do agree with Adam how I don't like it when they're like, oh, this guy's already is one of the all-time greats, and this guy's better than this guy, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that shit's kind of corny when a dude's only played 2 seasons. I think it's kind of stupid. But, people are honest about what defenders. You see it a lot with the defensive player of the year because all these dudes value fucking sacks so fucking much. When pressure rate is the best metric. If sacks are not as important, they only bring a lot of value situationally. They don't always kill drives. Consistent pressure is what you want to be getting. You get 22 sacks, that's only 22 plays. You're not that valuable if you don't get 5 pressures a game, 6, 7 pressures a game. If you're not getting constant pressure, you're not that valuable. What does 22 sacks do over the course of a season? Not as much as you think. Do sacks matter if your team's fucking bad and you're letting teams still fucking pass the ball all over you? It's cool. To me, sacks have always been like a trophy stat. I don't really think that they impact the game as much as people think. I just think it's for example, Trey Hendricks for our team, he's only had a handful of seasons where he's had a lot of sacks. But the reason why the Bengals picked him up is because almost every single year he's top 10 in pressures. And right now he's one of the best guys in terms of pressure rate in the league, and that's what fucking matters. So Micah Parsons, he's right now until further notice. Also, I was gonna say, dudes love TJ Watt so much. Every single year, Myles Garrett's the best defensive end in football, and he's not getting defensive player of the year. He's better than TJ Watt in every fucking metric besides the sack totals. So, yeah, again, I think people value different things. I do like Micah Parsons right now as defensive player of the year.
I would favor that one with you. Because that's the only one I can think of that you hear that's kind of doing everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you get he's good in pass coverage too. You can line him up sideline to sideline. He's a linebacker. He's a full-fledged linebacker, pass rushing. They're just letting him pass rush.
Yeah, and I just can't think of anyone else that's been as super, I don't know, disrupting as that guy. Being on all fronts. He's getting a lot of tackles for losses and just tackles in general and things like that. So I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to see some of the other ones. See, I'm looking to see what the brass is saying. Okay, so right now, the brass 23 voters for Parsons. Second place is Matthew Judon. So yeah, I like Michael Parsons, just the explosiveness, the speed, the aggressiveness, the intelligence, just sheer disruptiveness. He's grading in the 70s in run defense. Again, he's not going to be the best run defender when you put him out there on the edge because it's not his natural position from a total physicality standpoint, even though he's wicked fucking physical. I just think he doesn't have enough reps to just put his hand in the dirt and defend the run at defensive end. And he still has a 91 grade. That's with a 70, a low 70s running back with run defense grade, which it's up 10 points from last year. He would have he'd have a fucking 98 grade if it was higher. And then my offensive rookie of the year for me is a no-brainer. It's Tyreek Hill. 76 catches for 1,100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Probably gonna have more touchdowns, but through 9 games.
Yeah.
He's on pace to go over 2,000 yards. I don't think he will, but what do you think?
I mean,
Chad's I like Stephon Diggs.
No, I mean, Diggs is doing good, but not that good yet. I mean, he's still around. I think he's second now, or
Chad's
I don't know. He's probably second or third in yards, at least.
Right.
The past couple games, he's been getting 100 yards every game. That'll help him out, but I don't know. I guess you'd have to kind of go with.
If
you can't go quarterback. You can't go quarterback.
Right.
You can't go quarterback offensive player of the year. That's just not fair. That's where the MVP goes in there. They just go into the MVP circle because all the quarterbacks just get boosted up into that realm. Because when's the last time a quarterback didn't win MVP of the year?
I don't know what I mean? I'd like to know.
It's definitely been probably 20 years. If it's ever. I think I've heard some wide receivers have gotten it or something like that, or.
So I'm looking at these votes for MVP, and they're fucking wild, dude.
See, MVP, Geno Smith is coming up in that category now.
I'm happy you said that because my MVP candidates, I wrote 3 guys down. Josh Allen, who leads in votes right now, Jalen Hurts. And listen, if the Seahawks fucking get 10, 11 wins and make the playoffs and go on a run, dude, that team's not as good compared to all the other teams that are going to be in the playoffs on paper. You got to give Geno, based off his numbers, his grade, and with that roster and the wins, you got to give Geno respect for MVP, most value to a team. The other 2 teams are stacked enough to where if their quarterbacks went down, they could still stay afloat making the playoffs. Without Geno Smith, this team's a fucking bottom feeder team.
That's true. What's interesting is you couldn't even snag him on the MVP betting odds until a couple weeks into the season.
Word.
because he was so low. He wasn't even on. He was. They were. I think it was Pat McAfee show or when I forgot. There's some show they're showing like the odds of the MVP with Geno Smith. They're talking about it. They're like on the odds because they do all these different odds of the players they think they're going to be an MVP beginning of the season. Geno Smith wasn't even on their radar. He wasn't even on the list.
Geno.
It'd be like throwing Danny Dimes on that list for like MVP. Like the odds for him to win that would probably be like 1 to 50,000 or something like ridiculous, 100,000, because the chance of him winning it are so slim. Like Geno Smith, no one thought he was going to do anything this year. So it's like now he's making his rounds and he has the reason to be there. But yeah, I think back to it. I think Hill would definitely be getting that Offensive Player of the Year because no running backs are keeping up a high enough pace to keep up with the wide receiver class at this point. With his play at this point. Like if there was a running back like Henry last year who had through five some games he had almost 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
If there was a back like that where they were already at like 1,400 yards rushing already, and it's only 10. It's gonna come up in the 10th week of the season. Maybe you could put him in that category, but then I think you'd still have to do like a McCaffrey type thing. You'd have to go 2,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving. You know what I mean?
Right.
To really break that point, but you'd have to go with Hill just with the production that he's had. Like you said, he's over 1,000 yards already.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And honestly, a lot of those yards, it wasn't garbage time because they were still good, close enough games. But when they were down too. He's doing what he needs to when they need him. So I mean, can't fault him for that point. You only play who you play. So I mean. And also, just that duo over there, Waddle's doing very well, too.
How close is he to 1,000 yards?
He has to have 700 or something now. If you want to do a quick search on your computer real quick, I know he's close. Or on your phone.
I'm looking at the injury report for the Seattle and the Bucks game.
Oh, dude. I already... in one of my parlays, I already picked Seattle -2. Or it might be +2.
Seattle's the underdog. I'm not sure.
Oh, then I took Seattle +2 because I'm like, I think Seattle's gonna take that game. I would take money line. I just wanted to be safe side because I just don't think Tampa hasn't been playing well enough, and Seattle's been playing very well. I just think it's gonna come down to what they've played lately, and Seattle's been a better team as of late. Plus, Tom's not even playing good at home. What makes you think he's going to play good over in Germany?
Right.
When it's off the normal schedule for him, and I don't know. There's something weird going on with him. Like you don't see him miss throws in the end zone by overthrowing someone. You know what I mean? Like that's just Tom Brady hasn't done stuff like that in like 3-4 years. Like making little mistakes like that. And you see him making them almost every game now, mistakes like that. It used to be every once in a while you'd see Tom have a bad game, and now it's like every game isn't great for him.
Right.
And even last year when people were injured, he still played well enough. That's why he was also in the MVP candidate race too towards the end because he was playing good enough. It's just Rodgers edged out everyone at that point.
Yeah, dude, this season's been fucking fickle, man. I go on and I've been doing well with the same game parlays and my MMA parlays lately. But straight up doing parlays with picks on NFL games, like taking 5 games and trying to pick the winners. Fucking ridiculous, dude. So bad because teams you think are gonna fucking beat you, you like look at these teams on paper, you're like, everyone's like playing down to their competition and shit. It's driving me nuts. I just hope the second half of the season, when you look at this shit, and I'm gonna pull it up when we talk after these awards here. I'm gonna put this up on the screen, the playoff picture, and just every team except for one that's left over is just either playing like ass or is just ass or not that good. It's like brutal, dude. So yeah, I'll throw that up, and we could talk about the playoff picture. We could talk about. I want your opinion on what teams you think now at 8 weeks, subject to change. What teams you think are gonna make it in? Give me a second.
So I was yeah, let's just do. I was looking at your
So here's the playoff picture. I have to go down a little bit, but right now, if the playoffs started tomorrow, oh, someone's hopping in here. If the playoffs started, it's Eagles. If the playoffs started tomorrow, it'd be the Bills at the 1 seed, Chiefs at 2 seed, Ravens 3 seed, Vikings 4 seed, Jets 5 seed, Dolphins 6 seed, Chargers 7 seed. Eagles 1 seed in the NFC, Vikings, Seahawks, Bucks, fucking Bucks, 4 and 5. Cowboys, Giants, 49ers. Look at all these teams on the bubble, dude. It's fucking so funny.
yeah, the bubble starts to get smaller when you have less games left.
Yeah, it does, but it's just saying it's like the teams on the bubble. Look how close the records are, though.
They're all 4 and 5, 5 and 4s.
It's hilarious. There's a bunch of 6 and 3s, bunch of 3 and 5s. Yeah, it's just fucking. It's wild to me, dude. We'll wait
I was
for
looking
Keegan.
at
We'll get for.
I was looking at the wide receiver,
He's got the top knot. I'm done, dude. It's fucking over. This kid's in here with the top knot. He's not even playing games.
Evan,
fucking
Jefferson.
Florida boy top knots, dude. What's up, Chad?
How's it going?
What's up, buddy?
Dude, Diggs is almost at 1,000 yards. He's at 857.
857. Where's Tyreek Hill?
He's
over 1,000.
Or not Tyreek Hill. Not Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle.
He's 1,100 yards right now.
Jalen Waddle is?
No, Hill.
Yeah,
Waddle's at
800s.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit because I wanna ask Keegan some questions because we already ran through a lot of the stuff that we had pegged for this game, and I'll disconnect this like that. Okay. We went through some teams, or we went through teams earlier that we were right and wrong about. So in your head, if you can, quick, what teams were you right about? What teams did you think were going to be good that you're right about? Or what teams did you definitely get right about being good and definitely got right about being bad? Because I'll run through my list for you real quick. Teams that I was right about them being good, and I put asterisks next to some of these. I picked the Chiefs to be good, Chargers to be good, and I put injuries next to Chargers because they're 5-3 with tons of injuries. Ravens, Bills, Dolphins, Jets, asterisk. We didn't think the Jets would be this good, but they are this good. Eagles, Cowboys, Vikings. I put 49ers at 4-4. We thought they'd be good, but we thought they'd be better. They are injured, getting those players back. Put Bengals with an asterisk because they're 5-4, but we thought they'd be better. And then the Titans. So what teams did you think were going to be good heading into the season that are good?
I think everyone thought the Eagles were going to be good. I think a lot of people thought the Cowboys were going to be good, and I think that division itself has been surprising. The fact that how good everyone in the division is playing, even the Commanders, I think, are about at 500 or one game under 500. Division itself has been surprising. I don't think anyone thought that the Seahawks were going to be as good as they're playing. And I watched a little bit of what y'all said about Geno, and I agree with Geno, but I also think that Pete Carroll plays a big role in that, because if you look at what Russ is doing, it's a different system, and I think Pete Carroll kind of was the puppet master over there, kind of, and don't get me wrong, Russ is a good player, but I think if you put him in a system like as a rookie in a different system than that, I don't think he has the success that he did there. I was pretty high on the Jets. I thought that they were going to be good. I didn't think that they were going to be as good as what they're 6-2, right?
6-3.
6-3, and then I thought that the Cardinals were going to be bad, and then I don't think anyone really thought that the Rams were going to be having this bad of a Super Bowl slump. This is kind of a Matthew Stafford showing his age, and Allen Robinson is exactly the only bright spot there is Cooper Kupp, and that's pretty much it. I think Matthew Stafford had like under 200 yards. He had like a $187. And I think Cooper Kupp had like 160 of those yards, something like that, in one game. Like it's a one-man show over there. But yeah, Texans. I don't think anyone thought the Texans were going to be good. The Jags are kind of playing pretty surprisingly.
Out the gate,
I wasn't too high on them. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is kind of holding his own. He's got some weapons down there with Kirk, the kind of the ridiculous free agent signing, or the most ridiculous free agent signing.
He's actually not playing bad though.
Yeah,
he just scored again the other day.
Money was still kind of a little bit too much.
With Jacksonville, it was one of those things where you knew they would improve because they did spend the money on good players, but the amount of money that they spent, you need to get really good players for the amount of money that you spent. And they went out, spent a lot of money, but on good players and role players. So like they definitely are playing better, but for the amount of money they spent, they're not getting the improvement they should have gotten with that much money to spend. You spend that much money, you should make a sizable jump. So teams that I was wrong about, obviously I was wrong about the Giants. We did say that their ceiling could be 10 wins, but I think they're going to be a playoff team. And again, I've said on the power rankings a bunch of times, I think their overall schedule for the whole entire season's weak, based off what we're seeing now. And I just what's that?
All four NFC East teams are at the bottom of the strength of schedule. Like all four of them had the top four weakest schedules.
And the other team, obviously, I didn't see coming is the Seahawks. I really thought the Seahawks would be at the bottom of the barrel. The teams that I was wrong about them, or like the teams that I was wrong about, obviously about them being bad. I agree with you. The Rams. I didn't think the Rams would be this bad. I didn't think the Bucs would be this bad. I didn't think the Cardinals were going to be world beaters. I didn't think they'd struggle like this. Packers. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. I'm honest. I was bullish on the Broncos. I thought the Broncos were going to be like a 10-win team. You see their football team, and if you're honest about it, the team's constructed. There's a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. That shit's a fucking circus, dude. That shit's brutal.
I agree with all those teams. I had forgotten about the Bucs.
I think the Bucs are going to storm back and win the division, but
that division's weak enough to where they're still. I think they're in first place now.
At 4-5,
yeah.
I'm still hanging. I'm telling you, Falcons are going to take that division.
Chad's a fucking closet Falcons fan over here. He's like, bring Michael Vick back.
The way Mariota played on Thursday night, that was
after the Niners take their division.
That's
way
one of
that
my midseason predictions is that the 49ers storm back and win their division.
That's what I had. I think I did my whatever. I had 49ers winning it,
What, you got
but
a
I had
Slurpee,
Tampa.
dude?
I had Tampa Bay taking
full of pop.
the 7th seed.
Dude, fucking Keegan, that hair and beard is like fucking. That shit is vicious. Like,
Is it going together?
dude, you look like a straight up Renaissance man. You look like at any second you could be a painter, a hitman, a grizzled war vet, a fucking
He's
Uber
making
driver. Like this dude could blend in anywhere. Fucking A, dude. What compelled you to grow your hair out and shit? Because when I was a kid, from the time I was 16, 15, 16 until like my mid 20s on and off, I had hair like almost down to my shoulders. Chad remembers I used to have long ass fucking hair, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I grew up in a like going to private school, and so they had like a dress code, and you had to have your hair cut past or like above your collar. And then same with my high school, and then I grew it out for like a year, and then I went and joined the military, and so I never really got the chance to kind of grow it out, and so I just decided I'm gonna go with it.
Dude, you look
Yeah, those
fucking hard as fuck.
Those curls from the back are going up over the ear. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's getting longer and longer, dude.
And,
You know what you should
and
do
so
too?
I
Keep going.
I never had curls, or I had curls when I was a kid, like a baby, and then they kind of went away, and now they're back. So I don't know.
What you should do is when you decide to cut it, keep that beard and just fade, do a nice slick, nice haircut, fade the sides like that. Keep the
Yeah.
beard.
Uh,
I'm
with,
just
with the locks in the back, you gotta do the mullet, dude. You gotta rock the mullet.
Yeah.
I
dude.
thought about it. I don't think Shelby would let me rock the mullet though.
You'll be looking like a fucking Pensacola Rough Rider, dude. But yeah, so the other thing we talked about, and we'll have you go through them. Who's your coach of the year? Oh, he walked away.
I think you could give it to Pete Carroll.
Oh, he's got Pete Carroll. Okay, my bad.
Just what I said earlier. I mean, I think Pete Carroll's system that he has over there in Seattle is, and if you look at it, they didn't lose any. The only person that they lost was Russell Wilson, and granted, I don't think I thought Geno Smith was going to be as good as he's playing, but you know, I think Pete Carroll's playing a big role in that. Down there or up there, I guess.
Who do you have for comeback player of the year? I think we all have the same guy.
Yeah, gonna stick in Seattle and go with Geno. Yeah,
Gino, let's go. Okay, here's where it starts to get spicy and contentious for everyone. Who's your defensive rookie of the year? We might all have the same guy too.
yeah. I watched. I think I watched a little bit of this part of earlier. So yeah, Sauce. Sauce is playing lights out over in New Jersey.
I would have loved to have got him on my fucking team. God damn it.
Yeah, he's just a ridiculously good player, and I don't think people thought that it was going to translate as much as it is right now in the NFL, but he's playing so good.
Offensive rookie of the year.
It would be
Or defense.
It would be,
Defensive. Was it offensive rookie of the year? I thought I said a regular rookie of the year.
it would be Olave
Okay.
if the Saints had a a quarterback, I think, and Andy Dalton's playing all right. I think Jameis is better than Dalton, but he's kind of been banged up and knocked around. I don't know if they're playing it safe or if they actually think that Dalton's a better player than Jameis. But yeah, I think it's.
We said
I don't
Damian
think you can
Pierce.
give it. Yeah, I heard you said Pierce. I don't think you can give it to Pierce though because of the team. And granted, the numbers that he's putting up are very good, but it's not contributing to wins.
Gotcha.
And I hate to like not give a player an award because his team sucks, but I think that's one of the situations where that kind of happens.
This is where it gets spicy in the group chat. Who's your defensive player of the year?
Oh, you know my defensive player.
Yeah, I think we all have the same guy.
Micah Parsons is playing a different level of football than any defensive player right now. The amount of pressures that he's getting, and he's getting double teamed, triple teamed, and he's still getting pressures on the quarterback. It's ridiculous. They don't have an answer for him. He's
Giants got an answer for him. You watch.
he's just and when he's not getting pressures, the offense is so focused on Micah that the other defensive players are getting pressures. He's just creating havoc down there, and it's a clear choice for defensive player.
Do you have the same guy we have for offensive rookie or offensive player of the year?
Yeah, halfway through the season, he's already got 1,000 receiving yards. The offense in Miami is crazy. I think Tua has taken a big leap this year, and you've got two receivers in the top 5 down there in Miami, and with Hill already over 1,000 receiving yards. Like I said, halfway through the season, it's kind of he's on pace to.
Chad's over here taking notes. These guys are pussies. So MVP, I said there's 3 different guys. I like Allen and Hurts. I also, if the Seahawks can get in the playoffs and make like a run and make it competitive, dude, I feel like when you look at that team on paper, the pieces that they have, they've overachieved already. And dude, that team without Geno Smith's play right now, he's got almost a fucking 90 overall grade. That team would be a fucking basement dwelling team. Those wide receivers and playmakers, they could get the fucking ball themselves. He should be in consideration. At least should be in consideration.
Everyone wrote the Seahawks off, I think, before the season even started. And they didn't. The only person that they lost, like I was saying, the only person they lost was Russ. And granted, I don't think people thought Geno was going to play this good, but
or play at all because they got a quarterback in return.
Yeah.
I think people were making fun of what the other quarterback they were gonna throw in there, but he's just whatever's Lock, right? Drew Lock.
Yeah, they got Drew Lock. Mahomes is playing really good. And then you're not gonna hear me say this very often, but Jalen Hurts has taken a leap. I don't think he's I still don't think he's as good of a quarterback as people are making him out to be.
Yeah, I agree.
But something's got to be said for 8-0, 9-0, undefeated this first half of the season.
I think Lamar should get votes. Apparently the brass right now, it's closer than people think. I think there's like 30 voters. 10 of them have gone to Allen. Or there's 20 something voters. 10 of them have gone to Allen. Hurts in second place. For some reason, Burrow got a vote from someone, and Lamar Jackson got a vote from somebody.
Burrow is having a good season so far, and he's done really well. Well, I think Joe Mixon carried him the one well that last game.
Yeah, I mean,
but
you know your team's
without
bad
Lamar,
when a running back can just run you over for 5 touchdowns.
yeah,
That was brutal. It would have been. They wouldn't have scored any points had we not pulled our players out in the second half.
Yeah, Evan, you wish you would have told me that Mixon was going to go for 5 touchdowns. I would have picked him for 3+.
I didn't. I picked him for 1 in my parlay, and he gets fucking 5. Imagine if someone cashed that out. Imagine someone was like, woke up in the morning like, this, Joe Mixon's going to get 5 times today.
They only go 3+, Evan. They go 3+.
Oh, they only go 3+. Dude, like I said, remember how I hit a while back on a 7-fight parlay? And imagine if I would have bet like $100 on that. instead of $10 on that shit. I said to Chow, I was kicking myself. I'm like, man, is there a pooch back there? I see a pooch.
Oh, she's.
Are you guaranteeing?
Baby.
She's up on my legs because
What are
she
you
thinks
doing?
I've got treats for her.
That's a nice layup.
Hi, what are you doing?
What's that?
What are you doing?
There's nothing. There's nothing else. There's no more food.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Giants suck. Oh yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yo, you missed
the
my boy.
Cowboys are gonna win the East.
You missed my boy Kyle hop in here just to tell us he thought the Giants suck earlier. And then he got out. He's like, later. I'm like, okay. But yeah, so
I think they're the worst. I think they're the worst 6-2 team that.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started.
We've seen. Joe Judge could get some votes for Coach of the Year, or not Joe
Dayball.
Judge, fucking Dayball. Could get some votes for Coach of the Year with what he's doing. He's got the locker room on his side.
I love Adam to death. But when I hear Adam say that his team's built for winning playoff games, it fucking hurts my fucking balls, dude.
They don't have anything to throw the ball to.
Well, you don't need to, dude. You just fucking spam the run button, dude. What are you talking about? You just as many carries as you can, man. It'll all work out. 50 carries. It'll all work out. I feel bad because he's going to be so pumped when they because they're going to make the playoffs. And he's going to be so pumped. He's going to be like, he's going to get rolled. Poor guy. I love him to death. He's probably going to see, he probably doesn't even watch the channel. He sees us, he'd be so mad. He's like, you guys talking fucking shit.
No, dude. You jumped on late because you're laying in bed when they called the whole group.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm so, like, it was after the trade deadline and the Giants made no moves. He's like, if they don't pick up Odell, even if we make the playoffs, we're not going that far.
No,
like,
dude, he was saying, no, hold on. He was saying some shit like, we didn't make any moves. You know what that means, boys. Like, as if they don't need more pieces to be competitive in the playoffs. It's like, what, dude? It's like, what are you talking about?
We didn't need to make any moves, Speaking of Odell, though.
Cowboys? What's the deal on that? You been talking to Jerry, dude?
Me and Jerry have been chatting it up. You got. I think you see it a lot. You see it a lot in the NBA with players recruiting on social media, but you don't necessarily see it to this level. I think, and so I think that goes to say that the Cowboys really want him, and it's something that Odell has said. He wants to be wanted by a team. He wants a multi-year deal. I think the Cowboys would give that to him. And it's close to his family, right? His dad's from, I think, like 2 hours away, like a city about 2 hours away from Dallas. Um, I think it makes sense. And
Yeah, I could
the
see.
Cowboys, the Cowboys do
I don't
have
know.
James Washington coming back, and he is one of those guys that I think can take the top off of defense and kind of get downfield. But I don't
Ooh, like
think
Kenny
James
Galladay?
Washington is the caliber of Odell even
No,
after
no.
the surgeries. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think Odell's going to land in Dallas.
See, see Jerry Jones on the phone with you, like, oh, Mr. Haig, we'll bring Odell
I don't
on
know.
down.
I've
We're
been
gonna bring Odell on down to Pensacola. You take us out one of them. I'm one of them old fan boats, and you lay it all out for us. All right, you're his representative and all sort of stuff. You guys sipping whiskey on a dock somewhere. There's fucking gators and snakes all around you. I think
I
we
had
got
Von
ourselves a
Miller.
button range of Los Angeles. What's that, Chad?
I had an interview with Von Miller. He said he's going to the Bills. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, that shit's so funny.
For
Like,
6 months. For 6 months, and then he can go to the. Then he goes to the Cowboys after. Right after around that time.
so what we could transition to is, and I'll pull it back up. Um, playoff picture. Playoffs.
Well, we're talking about playoffs.
Playoffs. All right, so the playoff picture. Got the playoff picture here. Let's talk about like teams that we think are going to be locks to make it the playoffs, and talk about the teams that we think, could be that are in the bubble that can make it in. Obviously the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens. I think the Titans will make it in. They'll win their division. If anyone on the AFC drops out of this race, it's probably going to be the Jets or the Chargers, I think. I do kind of like the Jets to sitting here at 6-3. I do kind of like the Jets to maybe be a wild card team. I ain't gonna lie. Los Angeles is just inconsistent, even though they're 5-3. Just they get into a lot of games and they can be beat. You could call it whatever you want, but I do like the Bengals to be a wild card game. If any team hops up out of the current bubble to be a wild card team, it's going to be the Bengals. What do you guys think about the AFC?
I would say that I do have the Bengals coming up to like 6 seed or so. Just like getting there especially once Chase gets back, they're gonna get a little bit better, well-rounded in how they're playing the game and get playing better and clicking better. I still think they come in, and maybe the Jets drop out, but I would like to see the Jets in the playoffs. But I think the Chargers can come around and stay up in there. So maybe I think the only difference I see is maybe the Bengals, because Dolphins are definitely going to make the playoffs. They're not going to stick out.
Yeah, I think the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens are all pretty safe playoff teams. I like the Titans in the playoffs too. I think that division is just kind of weak, and the Titans for the taking pretty much.
Who? Not the Colts. Fucking Christ. Spare me. So many people love the Colts and the fucking Raiders this year. It makes me want to fucking choke.
I think I predicted, and I can go back and look here real fast. I think I had. Let me check this real quick. Yeah. I think my division winner could still come through in the East, though, with this Josh Allen injury kind of question with the Dolphins. I think they might. They're a lock for the playoffs. Also, and I think the only team that's really has a shot of jumping up is going to be the Bengals. I don't like the Patriots. The offense is just not clicking yet. Mac Jones. They're winning games because of their defense. And eventually they're going to come across a team that's they're not going to be able to stop, and the offense isn't going to be able to get the job done.
Broncos
Yeah,
too.
I think the Broncos could make a
They
run
they could make a run at getting back
just
into a
because of
wild
that.
card slot. They have the talent
Yeah,
to. I don't think they're going to. They have the talent to. They're 3-5.
yeah.
If they
I
could
think the
push
only
it and get to
team.
9 wins, they depending on how it shakes.
I don't know.
It'd be tough. It would be tough.
It's gonna be tough, and I don't think Russ gets it done his first year there. Um, I think the Bengals are the only team that really has the shot of moving up into that playoff picture.
We're on a bye next week too. Get a little
Yeah,
time off.
give
Perfect
give,
time to get a bye.
give Jamar Chase his time to come back and help me out in fantasy.
Well, what about the NFC? So we got the Eagles, Vikings, Seahawks, Bucks, Cowboys, Giants, and the 49ers. Personally, um, personally, I think, this is my opinion, I think the 49ers are going to they're starting to get healthy. I think they're going to get a push. And I think I think they'll take the division from Seattle. Seattle will be a wild card team. This is my opinion. I think the Giants make it in. So I think what I wrote down is I have the Eagles, Vikings, 49ers, and Bucks to win their divisions. I have the Cowboys, Giants, and the Seahawks to be wild card teams. Teams in the NFC that could possibly make runs to get back to a wild card team. The Rams have the talent to do it. Will they get it together? I don't know. Packers have the talent to do it. Will they get it together? I don't know. And a team that I think people probably forget about who has the talent to do it is the Arizona Cardinals. So those are my bubble teams that could possibly make a run at getting the bubble back. I think Washington is still fucking Bunzito. They beat two bad teams to get to 500 and then lost again to, I don't know who the fuck they lost to last week. Who did they lose to last week?
I don't think they did lose. I thought they beat.
They were 4-4, I thought, in my last power ranking. And I don't know who the hell they played.
Let me see. Hold on, I got it up here.
Oh no, so they did beat
They
the
lost
Colts.
to Minnesota.
Oh no, they lost to Minnesota. Okay, so they lost to Minnesota.
Yeah.
So they played a good team, close game. Kirk Cousins just took over at the end, which was hilarious because he normally doesn't.
Yeah. And then old, as Shannon Sharp calls him, old 5-chain Kurt
Yeah.
on the team plane.
Shannon Sharp's fucking funny. Dude, Shannon Sharp when he does those innuendo, like those like weird like fucking sayings and innuendos.
My grandpa used to say.
Yeah, he's like Skip.
My grandpa had a saying.
Yeah, he's like Skip. It's like my grandmama used to tell me. Never walk a mile in a man's shoes unless you're willing to deal with the consequences. Some shit like that. Like the devil's in the details when you're upside down in the canoe going 90 with a bottle of yak. It's like, fucking relax, Shannon Sharp. I will give Chad this because Chad loves these dirty birds.
I'm telling you,
Atlanta can make it interesting at 4-6. They're so bad on defense and they're just not efficient enough on offense. It's like, where's Kyle Pitts again, Ben? I don't know. They don't throw him the fucking football. Like,
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
I personally think Tampa's gonna be either 7th seed or out. I think Falcons are making it in there. I put it in my video. I think the Falcons Tampa's gonna come down to that last week of the year, and then the Falcons are gonna win it, and then just I don't know. They're gonna take Tampa out of it, and they might pick up the 7th seed, or Seattle stays up there and just goes to 7th seed. But besides that, I see Eagles, Vikings, Falcons, and then Cowboys, Giants, and 49ers is gonna be up there. Sorry, 49ers is gonna be take their division. I think because I think with McCaffrey, that it's just gonna be the guy that brings him over the top. But Seattle's gonna do enough to make it into the 7th seed.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's gonna be interesting.
My division picks were the Niners, Bucks, Vikings, and the Cowboys. I don't know if the Cowboys are going to take their division. I think they still have a chance.
That would be fucking wild.
But
wild if you guys just fucking went ripped the fucking Eagles' heart out and took the division.
We play them on Christmas Eve, man. It would it's gonna be a very nice little Christmas present. I think they could take the division over that night. And I go to sleep happy. Wake up and Santa gonna bring me a division winner hat. No, the first half MVP could be Cooper Rush. He or the Cowboys defense. Because that he did just enough. He didn't turn the ball over. I'm going on tangent about the Cowboys.
It's all good.
I don't know if the Bucks are going to win their division. I could see Atlanta maybe taking it. But
that's right.
But
gotta believe that.
Chad's about to strap up and go play for them.
The way Mariota played on Thursday, I don't know. It was an ugly game for him, and they kind of just stayed in it to the last couple minutes. I think Seattle could hang on to their division, but with like you were saying, Chad, with the Niners getting McCaffrey, they
getting healthy too.
Yeah, I'm still not fully. I'm still not fully sold on Jimmy G. I don't like him as a quarterback. I think he's their only option. I think Trey Lance would have kept that job, and if Trey Lance was still in the picture, I think they'd be winning the division, or they'd be at least above 500. I think the Giants could fall out of playoff contention. But I don't. The Rams aren't going to make a climb. The Packers are dead, and the Cowboys are gonna put the final nail in the coffin this weekend. Aaron Rodgers is going to ride off into the sunset. It's no way. I don't think the Saints are making any noise. The Cardinals. I like the Bears and what Fields is doing down there. Buddy. But I don't think they're going to make a run into the playoffs, and neither with the Panthers, and the Lions can't stop anyone from scoring except for Aaron Rodgers. So,
we were talking about earlier. I've never seen a better place for a star quarterback to go in my life. The trade needs to happen. 49ers next season need to make the call. They need to get on the wire. And they need to trade for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers on that football team, if that football team was healthy, they'd go to the NFC Championship. Bring Rodgers home, baby. So what do you think Aaron Rodgers does in this situation? Do you think he asks for a trade? Do you think he retires? I mean, he just signed that extension. If I was the 49ers, I'd be on the call as soon as I'm allowed to be and be like, what do we got to do?
Aaron Rodgers, the stat came up, I think, when they were playing in London against the Giants. And Aaron Rodgers threw a touchdown to Mercedes Lewis, and it was the first touchdown he's ever thrown to a first-round pass catcher. And the Packers just have never gotten him any weapons. And I think he either retires or he requests a trade and gets out of there. I don't see him there next year.
Yeah, I don't either. And it's weird watching it. Like, this has been one of the oddest NFL seasons in a while.
Yeah.
Rams and Packers are good teams on paper, but they're ass. Atlanta's got a better record than them, and on paper they're ass. We got the Steelers, the fucking Raiders, bad. Broncos on paper good, they're bad. Bengals are a solid team, and they're not even in the bubble right now. Jets are in the playoffs. Giants in the playoffs. Seahawks in the playoffs.
I had the Vikings winning their division, but I don't think I had them at 7-1 right now.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is just kind of the defense is keeping them in games, and Kirk Cousins is making just enough plays to win them the games. He's got a top 3 pass catcher there in Jefferson. So,
hey Evan,
what's up, buddy?
I'm just looking something up just because I want to know the rushing leaders. Fields has 600 rushing yards right now.
Yeah, dude, he's a beast. Well, it helps him. It helps him that he had 175 or 65 or whatever he had in that one game.
How many does fucking what's his name?
How dare you? How dare you say his name right now, dude? Don't make me get Adam in here, dude. He'll fucking pull his phone up at the bar.
And Aaron Jones has 600. He has more than Aaron Jones.
Don't make me get Adam in here, and Adam will be like, you know what, dude? Saquon Barkley's going to play quarterback, and we're going all the way to the NFC Championship.
He's at 779. He's third right now.
Remember the first 2 weeks when Saquon scored a touchdown, and Adam's like, he's back! Oh, like screaming and shit in the group chat.
He made that one cut. He like juked the dude. It was like a 20-yard rush or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, Saquon's back, baby.
Yeah. And like it's just interesting. Football sometimes can be an odd nut to crack, but we'll see. I do think because of how soft their schedule is, they're gonna make it in. Like, who they play next week? Do they play the Texans next week? They better fucking win that football game. Like, they better win that football game.
Yeah, I don't know. Texans might expose them.
They face the Texans, then the Lions.
Davis Mills is not a bad quarterback. I'd put Davis Mills and Danny Dimes kind of right there neck and neck.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I do think Danny Dimes has got solid arm talent. I just think he's not consistent enough.
Yeah, he doesn't have the weapons to throw it to.
Yeah. And I don't think that's fully like the actual excuse. Dude, it still to this day fucking boggles my mind. Them going outside and Kenny Galladay. That shit's so fucking crazy, dude. $20 million a year. Then Adam tried to fucking justify it to me like, well, he stretches the field. I go, you can spend $1 million a year for dudes that stretch the field. I'm like, what are you talking about? You pay $20 million to a guy that's a number 1. You don't pay that money to a dude that's ass.
He only went there because they were the only team that offered him like a multi-year deal.
Every other team
was one that gave him a prove-it deal, and New York said they saw enough and threw him $20 million a year.
Kenny Galladay seen that fucking offer come across the table. He's like, honey, we're moving to New York. Like, come on. He didn't give a fuck.
Call the U-Haul.
He didn't care if they fucking won or not, dude. And, like, can you blame him, dude? Back the brakes truck up. Come on now. Dude, nothing's better when he gets going on Victor Cruz with his, like, fucking 4,000 fucking career receiving yards and, like, 20 touchdowns. It's like, fucking relax. That shit's so fucking funny. Cruz was electric. It's like, bro, breathe. That shit's fucking funny. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see. I mean, I'm just hoping my fucking Stangles can fucking be respectable down the fucking stretch here, dude. We got some tough fucking football games coming up. It's a shame, dude. And what is it with these teams? Like they're like the Bengals are better on paper, and they're fucking 5-4. It's like, ugh.
Did anyone talk about how shitty the Raiders are this year?
Dude, don't even get me fucking started
Did
on
you say
that.
that?
Because all of America, even I love Rich Eisen to death, and I love his show. He's one of my favorites. I love that dude. He was fucking talking about the Raiders all offseason about how they're fucking sneaky AFC. I'm like, everyone needs to fucking stop. Dudes in the group chat were trying to say the Raiders were going to be good too. They're literally one of the worst defenses on the team. No offensive line. That team is
Mark Davis needs to grow out his top knot and
dude, listen.
he needs to change his whole get up, and maybe that team will change. I think it just goes to show how I was right again about Derek Carr not. I don't know if it's Derek Carr not being able to get it done. They gave him Devontae, and I just don't think Carr. He's an average quarterback who is not a winner.
Oh shit! Did you see the new
the
new fucking press conferences where he's being all cryptic and shit, and he's like, "There's a lot of stuff I want to say. I'm not gonna say it right here." It's like, yo, don't be funny. That's some chick shit, dude. Just fucking say it. They would hate me if I was a professional athlete. I'd say shit. I'd be live. But yo, these Bengals coming up. Bengals come back with the Steelers. We'll probably play down to the Steelers level. Then we got the Titans, the Chiefs, the Browns, the Bucks, Patriots, Bills, and Ravens. God, we might not make the playoffs. It's so fucking brutal, dude.
We've got the Cowboys have the Packers this week, and then they go and play the Vikings. And then they've got the Giants on Thanksgiving, the Colts, the Texans, Jaguars, and then they play the Eagles on Christmas Eve.
Tough.
I mean, they could win. I think the toughest game is going to be at Minnesota because the next three are at home. Yeah, I think the Cowboys could. I think the Cowboys could win all 6 of those games.
If the Cowboys go 15-2, that would be fucking having a stroke. I'll call you up in the middle of the night trying to talk to you out in the moonlight and shit, dude. Tell you some shit about you that you don't know. Tell you so you understand, dude. That shit would be fucking wild. And then, so I want to touch on something too. I love how all the guys in the group chat are like, there's a lot of dudes in the group chat that like get like it's like Adam and Darren, and then, what is it there? I'm trying to think. Like Adam and Darren and Dennis and like Chad, they're always going back and forth and shit about their teams and shit. Like that shit's so funny. One thing I will say is I think that teams, some of what's gone on lately with the teams at the top, I think people underestimate how close some of the games are. Like you got to give the Eagles some respect for being 8-0, but they almost lost to the Cardinals. They've had multiple close games. Dude, if Dak would have played against the Eagles, there wouldn't have been 3 interceptions. He would have hit CeeDee Lamb on that play that fucking Cooper Kupp totally missed where CeeDee Lamb's wide open. And Darren's in there talking about how that game was an ass whooping. Wasn't an ass whooping. That game was like 2 plays away from being the reverse.
No, yeah, the Cowboys came back, scored 17 unanswered in the third quarter, and it was a 3-point game going into the fourth. So I mean, it was competitive. I think the Eagles got a surprise coming their way on Christmas. But I want to touch on one other thing. Going back to the defensive rookie of the year, I think Sam Williams in Dallas could start. You could start seeing his name start going up on that list. He's getting he's getting some playing time, and um he's showing how good he actually is. And also look this week for Damone Clark coming in playing for Anthony Barr. Barr's looking like he's gonna be out this week,
Okay.
and Clark is Clark came in last week. And I think he had 6 solo tackles. So in limited snap count.
Sam Williams with an 80 overall grade and an 84.8 pass rushing grade.
He's been playing some unbelievable ball. He's he's getting off the block at a crazy rate, and he's getting tackles for losses. I think he's got a couple sacks. Yeah, you're gonna start hearing his name called a lot more in the next coming weeks.
It's going to be fucking interesting down the stretch, dude. I feel like when we get to the playoffs here, that shit's going to be fucking live. And I can't wait till the playoffs for betting, dude. The stakes are so high. Chad's probably gonna put in a bet this weekend. It's like a fucking 14 same game parlay prop bet where he's like, I need the kicker to kick the ball on, hit the field goal post, and catch it and run it in. Like shit like that. Doink. Yeah, I need a double doink.
I need to have my buddy with the 5 touchdowns last week get 5 more so I can put a 3+ in there for him, you know?
Yeah, I got bets. He's not bets. I got bets for the fights this weekend. I hope they go well. I have a 6 fight parlay and an 8 fight parlay. The 8 fight parlay is just straight up wins and losses, and the 6-1 is like a combination of straight up wins and losses and then a couple finishes sprinkled in there. So
yeah. I don't know. I don't even know the lines they're putting on players yet, because you go to look at them. You might as well for NFL. For Sunday games. You might as well not look till like Saturday afternoon.
Well,
because they don't put. Like I'll grab the rush attempts, the receiving yards, like receptions. I love those things because receptions are so much easier than receiving yards most of the time, because you could say someone's going to get 2-3 catches. You guarantee they are, and that's a guaranteed bet almost every time.
Yeah, I started doing like the yards a little bit. Like the bet that I won the other week, I pulled old Chadaruski and I added some rushing yards into the prop bet. I did one where I picked a bunch of different dudes to score, and then the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields to rush for over 60 yards, which he did. He rushed for 80. And I was bummed out because I was like, oh no, Kendrick Bourne didn't score because he fucking was a game time and didn't play. But what they did was they didn't bone me. I would have won $500, but somehow the Kendrick Bourne one pushed that shit down to like a $70 or $80 win. And I was like, whatever, they cashed it out for me. I'm like, I'll take $80.
I mean, if you're doing like same game parlays, you have to go into like the player props and pick like receptions, like rush attempts, things like that. Where I don't know, it just makes sense. Most of them, I've gotten boned by putting a couple too many things in, one too many. But it's like I've come so close to like putting $2 down and winning like $300. And It's just so frustrating. Just one thing that doesn't go right, where they're like a catch away or like 5 yards away, and you're like, son of a bitch. These people in Vegas know what they're doing, I guess, you know?
Yeah, you got to be careful too, though. Sometimes Vegas changes the odds up and kind of wants you to bet on those underdogs.
Well, I also got to look at the weather more for these games and shit. When I'm putting them in, since now I'm putting them in videos and crap, I have to put them in like a little bit ahead of time where I may not know the weather, where you're better off putting the bets in on a Sunday morning. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where you know how the weather's going to be for the game, and you could actually say, well, it looks like they're probably going to have to run the ball more of this game, or passing might not be as prevalent. I don't know.
I don't know if Keegan can still hear me. I seen him walk away. You can hear us, right, Keegan? You might not be able to hear us.
It gets fun.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fun. I only do like $5 bets when I'm feeling really, really feisty. I'll do a $10 bet. The most I've done is like a $30 bet, but
Yeah,
but
I
yeah.
just do like
So
$1 to $2 bets, just because I'm like, if they hit, I get $80, and then I just have more money to put on bets later on.
right,
Because the most, like, if I could turn a dollar into like, literally turn a dollar into $100 by doing a 6-leg parlay, I'm hands down gonna do that, because I would rather put $1 or $2 down, even though that could be $10 into 1,000. But then I'm just out of $10 if I lose. If I'm out of $1, I don't care. Like,
right.
I'm not as or pissed off that one guy dropped the catch.
Yo, Keegan, you get into DraftKings at all yet?
I dabble in it here and
Okay,
there.
so you're making some bets every now and then.
Yeah,
Do you do?
I don't play every week, but I've got one. I go.
Do you do
I probably
at
go
all?
like. Do I now?
FanDuel?
Um. Yeah, but I don't ever do. So I don't normally do like the parlays, um, because I think it's the parlays I can't do in Florida.
What? They don't let you do parlays in Florida?
I don't think so. I
Just
might
because
be
most
wrong.
everything illegal is legal.
Let me look it up.
Except for yeah, it. I don't know. I remember I could do it. I I couldn't do parlays up in Washington, but I could do like regular DraftKings. Um, so like that's all that I did.
It's fun.
So like the pick your 9-man fantasy roster and fucking. I
Oh yeah,
was
I
like,
used to hate. I was always like so many points off where someone just guessed like a random player and they got hit really big on the doubles or something.
yeah, I was real close to like I was real close to winning like a couple $1,000s one time. And I ended up with like 50 because someone like a receiver that I didn't pick had a touchdown at the last second. But I normally do like the single game, just like pick a 5-man lineup, and spend like $5 or something on it, and see what I do.
I've made like so far betting for like what a little over a year. I've made like 4,000 something bucks.
That's not bad.
So I've made more than I've spent. Part of that is a $2,000 win. So half of it, but I don't do big bets. What I'm trying to do
Yeah,
right now is I do like $5 and $10 bets. I do a couple each week or every other week, and I'm trying to build up my bankroll so that what I try to do is I'm trying more now to do medium sized bets so I can just at least win something every week or every other week so that I can build my cachet so I'm not spending like my actual money that I have like in my bank or my checking account all the time
yeah, you're
to
just
do
in
it.
your winnings.
Yeah, I'm just using my winnings to keep playing. That's what I've been doing. It's been working so far for me. Like I was telling him, I tell you what, I need to like scale my bets back just a tad because almost every weekend I get needing one thing away from winning obscene amounts of money. Chad, you remember last year how much money I almost won? Do you remember how much money I
Yeah,
almost won last year?
$3 mil, right, or something crazy like that, or
What's
something
that?
stupid like that, or was it $3 mil?
Yeah, it was $4.8 million. I got
Jesus.
so close to winning last year. So last year I had a parlay bet on 4 different games, and it was whenever the Bengals, or it was a handful of games, whenever the Bengals played the Titans. So what would that be? The divisional round?
I think you needed a defensive score or something you put on there, right? Or
Yeah, I had this astronomical bet where I bet it was like $50. I bet 30 or 50 somewhere, $30 or $50. I can't remember. It was like $30. I needed 3 regular touchdown scorers, which I got all 3, right? But I needed the Bengals to just. I almost picked the first touchdown scorer in all 4 of those games. One of them, the one I didn't get, was I needed the Bengals to their defense to score the first touchdown against the Titans, and they got close twice to doing it at the beginning of the game, and we were fucking screaming at my buddy's house. I would have won $4.9 million. The taxes.
Oh, jeez.
It would have been like 2 something here in New York because you get fucking bet over.
You get about 50% of it.
It would have been like maybe 3. It would have been like 3. 4.8 or 4.9 would have been like 3. I got so close. I think it was like 5 touchdowns, 5 or 6 touchdowns. I think that was like 5 or 6 things I needed. And I got all of them except for that one. Jesse Bates picks the first pass off the game, immediately sits down on it. Then they force us on a 3 and out. Then BJ Hill sacks the quarterback. He fumbles. Someone picks it up, gets tackled. I got close to having some money in the bank.
I've stopped doing any of those like a parlay of 5 to 6, like 4 to 6, like anytime touchdowns, only because they've been so far off and on lately that I'd rather just pick rushing yards, rushing attempts, and receiving yards and like receptions at this point.
Yeah, what I'm going to stop doing is I think I'm going to stop betting game parlays where I'm picking 5 or 6 teams to win in a parlay because it's so fucking fickle NFL, dude. Like you think, the fucking, season, I would bet. Season itself, yeah, dude, the Eagles could play the fucking, the Texans or the Panthers, and I would pick the Eagles to win. They'd probably fucking lose. Like, that's just how the season's been going. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick 2 to 3 games each week and do same game parlays. Because honestly, you don't even win that much money for doing the team parlays. Like, if you're seriously trying to pick 6 teams to win a football game, right, and try to hit on all of them, dude, the odds end up not coming out to be that much if you place a $5 bet. Like, you're lucky if the earnings go over $200, which if you win $200, that's more money you could bet with. But I like same game parlays because I got to scale them back just a tad. I get so close on them, and like the average one for me, if I was to win, is like my $5 turns into like $500-$600. So I'm gonna start scaling them back. I literally get like, dude, I had a crazy one. 49ers played the Rams a little while back, and I had another fucking same game parlay where I picked all the shit to happen. Everything happened in it except for 2 things, and I had ample opportunities for those 2 things to happen. And I needed, who's the fullback for the 49ers? Who's good?
Hughes
check. The 2 things that I missed out of all the legs of this parlay was Hughes check scored a touchdown. What do they do on the second to last drive? Hughes check's just like, running around, catch the ball, running dudes over and shit. Had a play for 35 yards. I go, this is it. They're going to fucking give Hughes check the ball in the fucking red zone. They get in the red zone, didn't even fucking play him in the red zone. And I learned early on, too, because of that game, to stop fucking betting. I don't bet anything that has to do with Allen Robinson. That fucking motherfucker early in the year. In that same one, they screwed me on Hughes check, and I picked Allen Robinson to score a touchdown because I liked his matchup. What do they do, dude? They in the red zone, they give him 2 corner end zone fades, and he doesn't come up with the ball. I'm like, this is the one thing you're good at. In the one play, the ball literally touches his hands. And I'm going, no, because he's fucking dropping the ball. Dude, fuck that.
I still remember that night. I could have won like $200 if Tom Brady wouldn't have thrown over 37 pass attempts.
See, he gets crazy with
I
it.
was
I'm not gonna bet on pass attempts.
I was so upset because I'm like, Tom Brady's not a quarterback that throws like that. But it was the game where Tom Brady went down like 17 points and he had to come back and he still lost. So I was like,
Tom Brady, he's been throwing a lot this year.
I know
I've,
it was early on.
He's breaking all these records, but they're just longevity records. Like, it's only because he's played 20. He's going to end up playing, 24 seasons? Because he's probably going to play next year since he doesn't have a wife no more. He's got nothing else to do. He doesn't have to take care of the kids.
Dude, I hope Tom Brady goes full Mel Gibson on everyone, dude. I hope Tom Brady gets single and he just goes on a rampage. He's just fucking every famous chick. He's like, I'm fucking Tom Brady, throwing drinks, throwing cocktails at people and shit.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Hell yeah, dude.
Which is all his 27-year-old girlfriends. Hell
yeah.
He can have 3 at a time. He can literally have 3 at a time in a place and be like, "3 girlfriends right here."
Speaking of young girlfriends, we can close with this shit because we're over. I think we're over 2 hours. Are you guys gonna be on PlayStation? Are you got a game, Keegan?
Yeah. I'll be on.
Okay, because I'm gonna play Call of Duty, stream Call of Duty after this, and I want to tell you guys something wild. So this dude who I knew from when I was younger, I used to see him around all the time. A little bit older than me, but went to the same high school as me. This dude, it's all over the news now, so it's whatever. But this guy lives across the street from my mom. You never know what's going on with people, right? You just never know what skeletons they have in their closet, shit, what they're up to. So we already thought it was odd that, like, it was just a revolving door of women. He always had women coming in and out of his house all the time. Like, I'm not joking. There was times where he would hang out with a broad. She would leave, pull away, and then an hour later, a car would pull right in where she was, and it's a different bitch. Right? Yeah, dude. And he's, like, an educated guy, handsome guy, all this other stuff, has a job, makes, like, $100K plus a year, like, as an electric technician out at this place that's up north here. It's an aluminum company. And so all of a sudden I'm at work, and my brother and I both work for the county. And my brother gets out a little earlier than me. And he's like, he's texting me. He's like, Big Burn's going, the cops are at his house. He's going to get handcuffed. But he was like, I don't think he's really going to get handcuffed or whatnot. Because he kind of hung out we thought it was maybe like his roommate. And then all of a sudden my brother's like, oh my God. He's like, there's cops everywhere. He's like, he's getting arrested. And all of a sudden I was like, what the fuck, right? This dude drove all the way to Rochester, picked a 13-year-old girl up from her school, drove back, and had her in his place. He's like tagging her and shit for the whole weekend. Dude. And it's so sad and fucked up when you know someone and that shit happens. Like, you feel, not only is that, you feel bad for the chick, but like I seen all the charges he's getting. For his sake, I mean, he's not getting kidnapping. That gets you a minimum 20 years in the state because she, like, willingly went with him. But he's going to get all the other charges and shit. She was just hanging around his house and this and that. But, dude, it's fucking crazy because, like, my mom babysitted his kid every now and then in a pinch. She used to work at my mom's house, fix her car. Like, you could have conversations with him. He seemed like a solid neighbor. Like, we kind of had, like, that neighborly, like, the neighborly acquaintanceship where you walk outside, chop it up and stuff. Seemed all right. A dude who, when I was younger, used to hang out with, like, a nefarious crowd, just like I used to hang out with, like, a nefarious crowd when I was younger. Seemed like he had his, like, life together and shit, dude, and you hate seeing that shit. And you think I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that to happen. I knew he was into some wild shit. I thought it was going to be like, maybe he was, like, selling weed, or maybe he was, like, filming shit with chicks, and they fucking, like, got him in trouble for maybe, like, filming him while he was fucking him or something, because he's supposed to be used to do porn and shit. But, dude, that's so fucking terrible. This dude just fucking is just like, hey, I got candy, and picks this girl up from fucking high school and drives her all the way home. And my brother said it was like a fucking sting, dude. He said there was a bitch in a car out front of the house, and she, like, threw up a fucking signal and peeled out, and then the cops were like, woo, just fucking coming in. And so my girl and I were out running. We went for a run on the track. And Spencer, I'm like, are they still there? He goes, yeah, dude. So I drive back like an asshole. There's cops out there and shit. I park in my mom's yard. And I go inside. I'm watching it. Dude, they were straight fucking Goodfellas style, just like going through all his shit. Dude, they ransacked his house, opened all his vehicles up, his shed up, everything, just pulled it, gutted everything, and left it all. Probably looking for child porn and shit, but like, so then on top of that, all I can think about now is because I studied prison so much throughout my psychology coursework and the psychology of prison, and like he's right up the street. Someone I know is right up the street at the local jail, getting ready to get processed and sent to Elmira, because that's where they usually send everyone first before they send them to prison. We got some tough prisons here in New York.
But he's definitely going to the big boy prison.
Well, that's the other thing is like, so my girlfriend's so funny. We're driving by the jail and I forgot all about it. And she goes, "Hi, Bertie." That's the guy's name. And I'm like, "Who's hi?" I look over. I go, "Oh," I go, "Yeah, he's in there right now." I go, "That's fucking crazy." So like, not only imagine the psychology that doesn't matter what you go to prison for. Imagine being in jail. Waiting and sitting around, getting ready to go to the fucking big house, dude. You know how scary that's got to be? And he fucking deserves it, but like, dude, the other thing that sucks is when you carry those charges into prison, motherfuckers are going to be gunning for you, dude. Brutal. I mean, he's a good-looking guy.
Bro, I was in a place that used to feel like fucking jail.
Oh, the
and
military?
They used to serve us jail. They used to serve us jail food on the boat. Yeah,
dude, I couldn't even imagine that.
We would have packages of food that would say not for human consumption, or for like for prisoner consumption only, or some shit like that. It's like,
dude, listen, Adam has told me some stories from when you guys were on the boat. You guys, your dudes would have hated me if I was in that crew with you guys. I would have fucking been in so much trouble. Like when he told me someone was shitting in the bathroom, like in the shower, I would have woken you guys up.
Put it in the angle irons, yeah. Oh my
I
God,
would have woke you guys up, and I would have been like, "You guys are gonna help me find this guy because I'm gonna beat the fuck out of him." I hate that hygiene.
You guys got your bars and sales for real places?
What was he? No, explain to him what he was doing.
So the dude.
Listen to him.
Yeah.
So like, we shared showers. There would be like 6-7 showers in the room, right? And so like this dude would just go into the shower and would like shit on the floor, like wash himself, shit on the floor, and just leave it. Or he would like shit and put it in like the angle iron, like up at like chest level. So like the next person that walks in is just like right fucking in their face. Dude,
Jesus.
So this dude he probably did it like 4 or 5 times, like in this 6-7 month deployment. So it's like towards the end of it, I think he got caught like maybe like 4 months into the deployment. And so he like someone else finally goes and gets like one of the higher ranking people, and he comes like walking through the berthing, and he like turns all the lights on, and he's like, "Who the fuck shitting in this shower?" And like he goes to like every rack, and he's like interrogating, and the guy's finally like, "Yeah, I shit in the shower. Yeah, it was me." And so yeah, it was a fucking nightmare, dude. Yeah, dudes like sticking their phones over over like the toilets and like taking pictures of dudes' junk. It was just like,
yeah. Elaborate on that. How bad was it for you living on that boat? Because I feel like in a lot of ways, it's similar. It's got to be similar to being like locked up.
I've heard some weird stories of some people on the boats for too long. You know.
So it's almost in a way, it's almost like kind of like therapeutic, kind of, because you go out and you're working 12 hours and you're off 12 hours, and you get into you kind of like do your own thing. Therapeutic. You go months at a time, and you're doing the same shit every day. So you go to work, and you eat the same time, and then you go to the gym afterwards, and you take a shower, and you go to sleep, and you wake up and you do the same shit over again for 30 days at a time, and you hit a port, and you go out for 5 days and drink and come back and do the same shit over again. So I mean, in a way it's kind of like you just get into a rhythm, and you go, and everyone's in the same shit with you, and you just kind of deal with it together. But the worst part about it is just the food. I think I worked nights, and so I would have I would work 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and
Yep.
our lunchtime food, or the food that we eat at midnight, was I think we went like 2 weeks straight with nothing but like undercooked rice and bacon, and that was the only thing that they served us, and it was just the worst. And you would have like they would have like Pop Tarts and shit out, and so like everyone would just snatch Pop Tarts, and as soon as they would put Rice Krispie treats out, it's like a rats run into, like, you shine light and the rats just run into the grab. Everyone's grabbing fistfuls of Rice Krispie treats. It's crazy, man. But it was fun, you know.
You get any scraps on the boat, dude?
I didn't hear about none.
Man, I feel like that'd be the best place to get into a scrap. Dudes can't run in those close quarters, dude.
So there was one crazy, like, wasn't anything about fight or anything, but so like every deployment has like a special like underwater aquatics like dive team that goes out with them. And so like their fucking work center or whatever is like a big fucking crate that they can load onto the ship, and it's got like a bariatric chamber, pressure chamber, whatever, all that shit. And so it's got a door, and they go and would just hang out in there. So these dudes used to bring girls back. Like, they would all have like their own time. They would just bring girls into their shit. Lights would go off. They'd be in there for 30 minutes. A girl would come out. Her hair would be all fucked up, and she would leave. Like, these dudes were just like slaying chicks all fucking day. And they had like a schedule. Everyone had like the room for their own time, and they could just go in and do whatever the fuck they wanted. It was ridiculous. And it was right outside our fucking shop. We used to go and just sit outside with the speaker and just watch and count like the girls that would come out of there and come from there. It was ridiculous.
Evan, you would laugh at the safety meetings they would have before. At least I heard it because we went to the Philippines and like stuff once. But like the safety meetings that you guys had when you guys came to port had to been around the same. It's like, depending where you're coming in, it's okay, guys. Here's all these condoms. Wear a condom. They have all these weird STDs around here because guess what? There's some super ones around here. Also, if it looks like a girl, if it looks like the prettiest girl, probably not a girl. Be careful about this if you want. Like,
yeah, it's funny,
especially around the week. At least over there, in the Asian countries, there's a lot more lady guys out there where they're like, if they look very pretty, it's probably not a girl. So definitely don't.
I always wonder what my life would have been like. I got like this close to joining the Army. I talked to a Navy recruiter when I was younger and an Army recruiter when I was younger. The reason why I didn't join the Navy was because when I was younger, I wanted to be a frogman so bad. But then when the Navy recruiter explained to me that if I signed on the dotted line and I don't make it as a SEAL, that I'd be like on a boat somewhere or as like basically learning a trade and a labor, I was like, fuck that. I'm like, I'm not going Navy.
Yeah, if you get dropped from that, they just send you somewhere and you're fucking undez, and you got to pick your own. They make you do all the shitty fucking work. Yeah,
I ended up speaking to an Army recruiter, and I don't know if it was a miscommunication or whatnot, but I basically got blew off by him, and from that point on, I was like, yeah, probably gonna just go try my hand in combat sports and shit. But I got like so close. Like, I had my mind made up in high school that that's what I was gonna do. I always wondered what my life would be like if I didn't do that. I always felt like I'd be a good soldier. Maybe I wouldn't have.
Yeah,
Evan, I could see you being a lifer in like the military, just being like, this is my life. I go to the gym all the fucking time. Then I go to some deployments where I work out even more. And I can still fight and do MMA shit because you can still do that stuff in the military. And That's my life. That's how I roll. I just keep bouncing around doing my thing.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I do like some of the benefits that you guys get from being in the military. Like you get a lot of your schooling paid for, and a lot of different other programs you get privy to. I mean, I feel like if something's serious about the military, it's not really a bad gig. You get taken care of for a little while and shit, and you get like school paid for and stuff. Like I had a buddy who ended up not going to the military, but he ended up going in a different direction for a bunch of different reasons, but he ended up getting a military scholarship where if he went off and played college sports because he got recruited by all these places to play football, that he would like go to school for 4 years, get his degree, and be immediately enrolled as an officer into the army or wherever it was he was going to go to.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who's going through. He's in the Air Force right now, or he's not in the Air Force. He's going through medical training to be like a general surgeon, but the Air Force is paying for his entire schooling, and then he goes and does his however many years, and then he can open up his own practice. And yeah, I mean, it was a really fun experience. I made a lot of lifelong friends, and I made friends through those friends. And I got to see the world. It was a real fun experience. Yeah.
Give me a second, my girl's calling me.
All right.
What, you got any other good stories from the military, Chad? What's up, babe? Hold on one second.
I don't know. I was out in Tokyo, man. We did a trip out there just for like a military, just a trip, just to go out there for like a snowboarding thing for a weekend. The last day we were there, we were up in like up by what mountain was it? It was whatever, the Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
It was like Kilimanjaro, whatever, that big ass mountain in Japan.
I'm
Yeah, we were pretty close to it, and we just snowboarded there earlier that day, and we were leaving the next day around like 10 or 12 in the morning, whatever it was. We took a bus with all our shit because all they said is we have to be at the airport in time to leave. So we took the bus.
We shut it off and restarted.
We left around 9 or 10. Took the bus down the hill to the train station into Tokyo, and then we got there by 12. Put our bags in a hotel and just literally started drinking by 12:30. And we got out of the last club at like 7 in the morning. And then McDonald's, got back on the train, shot right to the airport. And what's wild is you can drink on airplanes in Japan. You can bring alcohol that you bought off the airplane onto the airplane and just drink it.
That's awesome.
Where is this in the States? Because I would love shit like that.
That's international law, yeah.
Yo, Keegan, I'm kind of bummed out, man, that you're scared of snakes. I feel like that brings your swamp cred down a little bit, dude.
Dude, so like I can deal with like the small ones, but those like big fucking pythons and shit that from that video, nah, I don't fuck with those, bro.
I told my girl, as much as I'd like to move to Florida, I can't go down there because every animal I'd be trying to catch it.
If the spider are like fucking this big, that's like a small spider. It's like this. They get bigger.
One of my buddies. We've got like some wolf spiders down here. One of my buddies had like a wolf spider about like that big, like crawling around his house the other day.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
What up, D?
I'm not a snake person.
Trouser snakes. Yo, D, you gonna be playing Call of Duty tonight?
Grinding, man.
Yeah, we're actually wrapping up here, and then I'm gonna be hopping on if you're down to play.
Yeah, whenever I get done cooking dinner and everything, I'll be hopping on.
Yeah, we're just talking about football, so.
Well, I got you.
Yeah, all of a sudden, D just starts dropping nuggets. He's like, "We see Geno Smith." No, fucking. But yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up, and then I'm hopping on Call of Duty.
All right, man. I'll let you know whenever I hop on.
All right, let me know, and I'll float you an invite.
All right, bro.
Later, brother. But yeah, in closing, I guess moral of the story is and I was just telling my girl, you never really know what's going on in people's lives. Like, it's all we've been talking about the past 3 days. The fact that my neighbor was out here just bottoming out a 13-year-old. This shit's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, NFL season. What's that?
You know what's funny? Because before you even talked about it, when you said it's on the news, I just typed in Fulton news, and that's like the first thing that pops up. I was like, "What?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about this. I don't watch any news, man."
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, fucking who pays attention to what goes on in Fulton anyways, but that's fucking gnarly. But, oh, yeah. Real quick.
yeah, I remember we'd watch fights over there.
Yeah,
we watched fights over there.
When Scott lived there, yeah.
Yeah,
Scott moved out of there like 5 years ago. But yeah, in closing, real quick, at this point in the season, and we'll end on this. Who do you think is going to be in the AFC and NFC championship now after, now it's midseason? Chad, go.
I think it's going to be...
Dude. Just say it, dude.
Well, it's going to be the Bills. I think Bills versus... I don't think it would be anyone else in the AFC East at this point. Just because... Just how the layout's going to go by versus... Maybe, I guess Bills Chiefs would be the obvious one, but maybe Bills Dolphins or something stupid like that. Or
I say Bills Chiefs or Bills Ravens.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Keegan?
Ravens are going to be up there.
Yeah, I think we're going to see another rematch of last year, Bills Chiefs, and hopefully it's the same kind of fireworks. That it was last year, back-to-back game.
Chad, NFC.
NFC, I think it's be Eagles Vikes. Personally, I be a nice little matchup. Maybe Kurt can get over his woes, but I think Eagles might be snagging the whole thing.
Keegan.
Sales.
I think it's either going to be the Cowboys-Vikings
Wow. Okay.
NFC Championship game,
Okay.
or a Cowboys-Eagles. We're going to get a third divisional game to decide who's going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
I think the Cowboys just every year they've lacked the defense, and this year they've got it, and I think that's what's going to carry them to this NFC Championship.
Yeah, I agree with Keegan. I think it's gonna be some of those combinations. I could see the 49ers making a run back towards the NFC Championship if they can get everyone back and healthy. I think that Seattle doesn't have enough juice to win these like big games against these teams. And the Buccaneers, I think the Buccaneers might make it in, but I don't know. Bucs are just too inconsistent.
If the Bucs make it in, they're going to lose in the first round. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, this is Keeping It G Real podcast. What do you got, Chad?
I would love to see. I was thinking about that too right before Keegan said. I'm like, I would love to see the Eagles Dallas for a championship. I feel like that'd be the most entertaining one from that side.
I either want the Super Bowl to be the Bills and the Cowboys, or the Jets and the Giants.
Oh my God!
How funny would that be? Jets and the Giants. Adam would be going, like running around, like battle for New Jersey, like fucking screaming, dude. They should just move the Jets over to New York finally, and then like make it the Jersey Jets. That'd be pretty cool, New Jersey Jets. But yeah, let's keep it a G Real podcast. We've been doing this for a little bit tonight, a little over 2 hours. Chad, my boy Keegan coming in the clutch towards the end down the stretch. Dante hopping. I was hoping Dante drop was like a fucking football gem or something. It'd be like talk about a kicker or something. I don't know. Like I was hoping he'd drop a nugget, but he don't really watch football.
Yeah, losing, missing some of those kicks, dude. Jesus.
Keegan, you got anything to plug?
No.
No,
Dallas
no.
Cowboys football.
Dallas Cowboys football. Gang, gang. Jerry Jones, you heard it here. Chad, drop your plugs, man.
Oh, check out my channel, Bill's Bets and Beers. Just talking Bills, NFL, doing obviously some parlays and crap, and rating some beers every once in a while. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you want, you can check out my wife's Instagram, Crochet with Alicia. She does some shit with like cardigans, hats. Winter's coming up, so she can get you some nice gloves and stuff for the kids and yourself as well.
Dude, Keegan, you got to get in the game, man. You got to start having something to plug, kid. You got to start streaming on Twitch. Oh, look, Poochie Pooch.
Maybe next season.
Maybe
next season I'll come around, yeah.
All right, well.
Get a little something built out.
You guys already know what it is. Keep It a G-Roll podcast. Chad, Keegan, you guys could find me. Everything's all here. Mr. _Nasty Time on my channel. I've been streaming on my channel. I still love the old Twitch platform. I'm considering maybe streaming on Twitch still too, but everything's right here under all in-house now. Considered maybe opening up a few more social media platforms just to get my, stuff out there. I'm
hey,
rising.
Get yourself verified on Twitter, bro.
Yeah, I might have to open up a Twitter. I'm actually doing really well lately in views. A lot of my videos have hundreds of views. It's just not a lot of likes, not a lot of subscriptions. I've only had one new subscriber past couple weeks, and that's my girlfriend. So, but yeah, keep it a G-Real podcast. Mid-season, I'll be back with the power rankings next week. Check out the video I just threw up about UFC 281. That shit goes down tomorrow. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. Show Keegan and Chad some love. Bills, bets, and beers. Go Bengals.